This is a SilverScreen analysis. Let's talk about Point Break from 2015. Oh man. So this unneeded remake has both a collection of awesome stunt-filled sequences, as well as one of the just flat-out worst screenplays I can remember in recent memory. This abomination of the original is directed by Ericson, stars Edgar Ramirez, Luke Bracey, Ray Winstone, Teresa Palmer, Delroy Lindo. I don't even want to bother with a synopsis because the story is so incoherent, it makes zero sense and is so contrived that it really isn't worth it. But in as few words as possible, you have a group of extreme athletes that are committing crimes. They're trying to achieve this cluster of feats known as the Ozaki 8, which I guess are supposed to be trials against the forces of nature. I don't know. And you have an FBI agent who is also conveniently an extreme athlete who is trying to infiltrate them once he discovers these criminals' patterns. Regardless, holy shit, this was a horrible script and a ridiculous movie overall. At times it was beautiful to watch, others it was painful, brutally painful. This remake did nothing to recreate the slightest bit of chemistry of the two main characters played by Reeves and Swayze in the original, and this script had none of the substance that was in the first. It took a story about surfing bank robbers and turned it into an extreme sports mess that makes Vin Diesel's Triple X come across as a Scorsese film. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some good in this movie. The action sequences are just flat out fantastic. The stunt work, camera work, they're all impeccable at times. There were many locations that are just visually awesome. There are many of these segments that will without a doubt pull you up out of your seat. Then, immediately after they're over, you will be pulled back down into your seat like a cinder block is being plopped into your lap when these characters start spouting these horrific lines. The dialogue is horrible. It's so scripted, it's laughable. This movie is filled with so many stare-downs, close-talking conversations, horrendously cheesy lines. It was actually an effort to just finish this one. There was a moment where I thought the line from Bodhi where he says, "Read the flow, become the wind," would be the worst line of dialogue I would hear for some time until only seconds later they say, "Or you'll reach the point," where Luke Bracey, who plays Utah, of course, says, "What point?" with an answer of, "The point where you break." It was like nails on the chalkboard. This entire film is set up with cliche moments, scripted scenarios, and it's easily hands down one of the worst remakes of all time in regards to many elements, among them being just lack of respect of the source material, in my opinion. The first Point Break is clearly an over-the-top action movie oozing with 90s nostalgia, but there was some substance to it. The entire plot was unique, the characters were perfectly cast, and their chemistry with one another all sold their character dynamics that the story needed to pull off. Bodhi and Utah had a layered connection to one another in the original, and it really wasn't a single layer to theirs. Really, none of the references to the first film do not come across as forced, set up, and in some instances just very out of place in this remake. For that, I'm going to give Point Fake an F. There are some awesome stunts in this movie, and they all did an amazing job, but the rest of this movie is just terrible. If these guys wanted to create a wildly fun movie filled with extreme sports, they have every right to do so, but don't do it at the expense of using a classically nostalgic film for a title to just put butts in seats. Trust your own creativity. It's just astonishing to me that with all the effort taken into finding great locations, performing amazing high-risk stunts, that someone along the line never thought to think, this story is complete shit. We have to go back and continue building a better one, or simply call this movie something else. This film can be retitled, have a couple characters renamed, and few would even correlate it to the 1991 Point Break. That's how clear it was they simply took a familiar title to make money off a Uyghur project. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this review on the new Point Break remake. If you went and saw this movie, let me know what you thought below. I'm Anthony. This is a SilverScreen analysis, and we'll see you next time.